Martinism is a form of Christian mysticism and esoteric Christianity concerned with the first man's fall, his state of material deprivation from his divine source, and the process of his return, called reintegration. Hello everyone. Welcome back to Grimoire of Myths, where we explore the depths of various spiritual traditions. Today we have a fascinating topic on the agenda: Martinism. Now, let's get into it. As a mystical tradition, it was first transmitted through a Masonic high-degree system established around 1740 in France by Martinez de Pasquale, and later propagated in different forms by his two students, Louis-Claude de Saint-Martin and Jean-Baptiste Willemoz. The term Martinism applies to both this particular doctrine and the teachings of the reorganized Martinist order founded in 1886 by Augustin Chaboseau and Gérard Encausse. It was not used at the tradition's inception in the 18th century. This confusing disambiguation has been a problem since the late 18th century, when the term Martinism was already used interchangeably between the teachings of Louis-Claude de Saint-Martin and Martinez de Pasquale, and the works of the first being attributed to the latter. Regular transmission of Martinism to Augustin Chaboseau and Gérard Encausse has yet to be documented. The Elus Cohens, or Elus Cohens, Elus means the chosen and Cohen means priest. This was the first and explicitly theurgical way that reintegration was to be attained. The Elus Cohens were founded by Martinez de Pasquale, Saint-Martin's teacher. The original Elus Cohens ceased to exist sometime in the late 18th or early 19th century, but it was revived in the 20th century by Robert Ambelain and lives on today in various Martinist orders, including the branch reinstated by Ambelain himself. In the highest of the 3 degrees of the order of the Elus Cohen, known as the Shrine, itself consisting of 3 degrees of which the highest was the Master Réauquois, evocation of entities belonging to the divine plane was carried out. This makes clear that the Elus Cohen were not merely a mystical but a magical order. The chief evocation was that of the Mender, Jehoshua, and the basic methods were those of the Key of Solomon, including the use of circles, names of angels, planetary hours, and symbols. The magical operations of the lower degrees were intended to establish contact between the operator and the invisible world. Lofty and beautiful prayers recalled the goal which the order tried to attain. There were also exorcisms intended to strangle demonic influence in the universe, thwart its powers over men, and combat black magic. The Scottish Rectified Rite, or Chevalier Bienfaisant de la Cité Sainte. This was originally a Masonic rite, a reformed variant of the Rite of Strict Observance, which, in its highest degrees, uses Masonic-type rituals to demonstrate the philosophy underlying Martinism and the practices of the Elus Cohens. The Chevalier was founded in the late 18th century by Jean-Baptiste Willemoz, who was a pupil of Martinez de Pasquale and a friend of Saint-Martin. The CBCS has managed to survive as a continually practiced rite from its founding until the present day, both as a purely Masonic rite and as a detached rite that is also open to women. The Martinism of Louis-Claude de Saint-Martin is a mystical tradition in which emphasis is placed on meditation and inner spiritual alchemy. Saint-Martin disapproved of these teachings being called Martinism by his contemporaries and instead explained it as a silent way of the heart to attain reintegration. Saint-Martin most likely did not organize this path as an order, but gathered small circles of students around him, where he transmitted his teachings. In a nutshell, Martinism as we know it today consists of the theurgic tradition of Martinez de Pasquale, Martinezism, the Masonic Templarism of Jean-Baptiste Willemoz, Willemozism, and the Christian theosophy of Louis-Claude de Saint-Martin. This heritage was reorganized into the Ordre Martiniste in 1886 by Augustin Chaboseau and Gérard Encausse, also known as Papoose. The regular transmission of the Martinist heritage to Chaboseau and Papoose has not been proven as of today. Jacques de Livron, Joachim de la Tour de la Casa Martinez de Pasquale, was born in Sabun 1727 in Grenoble, France, and died in 1774 in Saint-Domingue while dealing with profane business. Martinez de Pasquale was active in Masonic organizations throughout France from the age of 28 onwards. In 1765, he established the Order of Knight Masons Elect Priests of the Universe, which functioned as a regular Masonic obedience in France. This order had 3 sets of degrees. The first was analogous to the symbolic degrees of conventional Freemasonry. The second was generally Masonic, though hinting at Pasquale's secret doctrine. The third set was blatantly magical, for example by using exorcisms against evil in the world generally and in the individual specifically. In the highest degree, the Réaucroix, the initiate was taught to use theurgie to contact spiritual realms beyond the physical. De Pasquale put forth the philosophy underlying the work of the Ellis Cohens in his only book, Treatise on the Reintegration of Beings, which first uses the analogy of the Garden of Eden and refers to Christ as the repairer. The ultimate aim of the Ellis Cohen was to attain, whilst living, the beatific vision through a series of magical invocations and complex theurgic operations. After Martinez de Pasquale's death, the Ellis Cohens continued to operate for some time. However, divisions started to occur between various temples, which became dormant during the first half of the 19th century. Saint-Martin became increasingly dissatisfied with the Ellis Cohens' use of theurgic ritual, feeling that it was too sophisticated for the desired end. Instead, he favored inward contemplation, or what he called the way of the heart. Nevertheless, Saint-Martin continued to acknowledge Martinez de Pasquale's influence on his system of thought. In addition, Saint-Martin drew much inspiration from the work of Jacob Böhme. In 1777, after failing to convince the Ellis Cohens to adopt a more contemplative practice, he cut back his involvement in the order. He ceased all involvement in 1790. Jean-Baptiste Willermoz was initiated into Masonry at the age of 20 in a lodge that operated under the auspices of the strict observance. He was initiated into the Elus Cohen in 1767, eventually attaining the highest degree of the order, and being named by de Pasquale as a superior judge, one of its most senior officers. The disciples of Saint Martin spread the doctrine of the unknown philosopher in France, Germany, Denmark, and above all, in Russia. It was through one of them, Henri Delage, that in 1880, a brilliant young Parisian doctor, Gérard d'Encausse, later to be known as Papoose, became acquainted with the doctrines of Saint-Martin. Subsequently, in 1884, together with some of his associates, he established a mystical order which he called the Ordre Martiniste, or the Martinist order. The founding of the order came about when Encausse met Augustin Chaboseau in 1884. In parallel, Stanislas de Guaita, in association with Gérard Encausse and Pierre-Augustin Chaboseau, founded the Ordre Kabbalistique de la Rose-Croix in 1888. Papoose and Chaboseau discovered that they had both received Martinist initiation through 2 different chains of succession, which linked back to Saint-Martin and his original disciples. Papoose claimed to have come into the possession of the original papers of de Pasquale and to have been given authority in the Rite of Saint-Martin by his friend Henri Vicomte de Lage. However, Encausse realized that there was a missing link in his own chain of succession. He and Chaboseau therefore swapped initiations to consolidate their lineages. In 1905, Tsar Nicholas II of Russia invited Papoose to Tsarskoye Selo to ask for advice on domestic difficulties that he was facing with revolutionaries. The First World War was disastrous for the order. Papoose died on the battlefield fulfilling his duties as a doctor, as did many other leaders of the order. After the war, the order was almost extinct, and the surviving members splintered into competing factions. The Second World War was as disastrous for the order in Europe as the first. The Nazi regime suppressed all occult groups, and many Martinists died in concentration camps. The OMT in Europe and its American branch, the traditional Martinist order, still exists. The order currently operates in almost every free country in the world under the protection of AMORC. Martinism is still growing in popularity, and with the advent of the Internet, many new orders and online groups expressing an interest in Martinism have emerged worldwide. Martinism has had a profound impact on various esoteric and mystical movements throughout history. It found resonance within the broader Western esoteric tradition, influencing figures like Pappus, Eliphas Levi, and the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Even today, Martinism continues to inspire individuals seeking a deeper understanding of spirituality and the mysteries of existence. And there you have it, a glimpse into the intriguing world of Martinism. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments if there's another mystical tradition you'd like me to cover in future episodes. Until next time, keep exploring the realms of knowledge and embracing the mysteries that make life truly extraordinary. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.